Bonsoir. It's October 1997, and Amy Leduc, my detective, has just found a body, and now she has to go to a sex club.
I hate when that happens.
Amy looked around Club Eros, a hand-blasted stone-arched cavern lit by hundreds of flickering votive candles. Floor to ceiling, red silk panels billowed in the breeze of a fan whirring somewhere. A dense humidity mingled with scents of perfume, peppermint lubricant, and other odors that Amy didn't want to explore. First time, and the last, she thought. The voice belonged to a balding man in his 50s, wearing spandex bicycle shorts and nothing else. His chest glistened with oil. This was one membership in a club where she wouldn't get her money's worth. I love to show novices the ropes, he said. She recognized him as a well-known left bank literary critic. His picture appeared often in the weekly book review section René read. I've never seen you at Rouge et Noir night. So they'd adopted Stendhal's title for a sex club event? An échangiste? A swingers club with literary pretensions? Use a little wheel to coudre, elbow grease, moaned a woman from a cubicle. Amy shuddered. This might relax you. He offered her a black and white Pierrot mask. Join my wife and me. Ménage à trois were not on her agenda tonight, or ever. She had to get out of here as soon as the fleeks, the cops, left the courtyard. A naked woman on a velvet rope swing hung suspended from the ceiling, dropping rose petals on those below, couples, trios, limbs intertwined, from what she could make out in the darkening, thick, vanilla-scented candlelight, a scent that made her want to sneeze. A rank of people watched from the walls as if glued there. Voyeuristic kicks, she assumed, as some watched and some performed. People from the suburbs or offices, or a smattering of the elite. The age range varied. Call me Zedo. Like to whet your appetite at the buffet? Buffet? He gestured to a buffet, spread out on a table piled with food. They ate before they got down to business, as if to store up energy for an athletic event. A do-your-kind-of-thing club. Food, casual partner swapping, all lubricated by good bottles of wine, she noticed. Where was the other exit? They had to have one for deliveries. The fire code demanded it. Zito's glistening bare chest was too close for comfort. Rolls of fat hung over his bicycle shorts. I'm meeting someone, she told him, handing back the mask. He winked. We all meet someone here. She never thought she'd be nostalgic for a bordello. Compared to this event, a commercial establishment seemed passé. She hoped she wouldn't run into anyone's father or cousin from the Sorbonne. It was that kind of place. She edged towards the entrance to see if the fleeks had left yet. Then her gaze fell on Leo Fro. Leo had moved to the Ministry of Finance last year. He'd avoided her calls after she'd done him a favor, a big-time favor, on his credit authorization, in return for giving her entry into the police database. Not that she felt like catching up, especially since he was wearing a cloak and she imagined nothing underneath. But he owed her, and she'd kick herself if she didn't grab this opportunity. You swing, Leo? His eyes glittered. Call me a gangster of love, Amy, Fro said, self-important as usual. But you're dressed, Amy. Get into the swing. Leo pronounced it swing. How's life at Bercy, Leo? People in the know referred to the Ministry of Finance by the location, even though it had moved there 10 years ago. Forget it, Amy. I come here for pleasure, enjoyment, not work. Don't you remember you owe me? Not officially. He knew everyone. Connected was Leo's middle name. So unofficially, can I reach you? Near the whipping post. Leo smiled and swept away, his cloak trailing on the floor. Dangle something and reel him in, she thought. But at the whipping post, a fur-covered contraption, she hesitated. Flagellation wasn't her thing, especially with the bald man, sweat dripping down his back, mourning in ecstasy. I'm so bad, bad, bad. Leo asked her, why don't you cool off? Like this? She unbuttoned the top button of her blouse. Thank God she'd worn her agent provocateur, black bra edged with fuchsia lace. Tease and retreat. That was her plan. Her last button undone, she shook her hair back, then forked her fingers through her hair. You will serve me. She directed Leo to the cubicle behind him. Now. Yes, mistress. Leo, abject and wanting domination. She'd guessed right. She'd use this opportunity to worm a name out of him. With luck, avoid that cape and what was underneath. She sensed a presence, edging closer in the shadows of a figure wearing a harlequin mask. She saw the glint of studs on a motorcycle jacket. A hand cupped her shoulder. Pulling her, Leo had disappeared into the cubicle. The hair rose on her neck. Get your hands off me. I think you and I belong together. The grip tightened like a vise digging into her skin, tugging her behind the billowing red silk panels. She leaned down, biting his knuckles hard. The hand let go. A yelp of pain was muffled by the mask he wore. The exit. Where was the exit? She ran behind the silk panels, reached the door, and slipped outside. In the courtyard, the static of a walkie-talkie echoed in the chill air. Light shone on the cobblestones from the lit apartments above. Then her mind went back to Clemence's pale face, her lifeless body, the small swelling in her belly. Then the club's door opened. Disco music drifted out, accompanied by the clomp of boots. She had a brief glimpse of a leather jacket. She had to leave, now. She kept to the shadows, hugging the building, pulling the entry door open and ran out to the street. The orange, blue, and white light bar on the roof of an empty fleet car bathed the buildings. Her heart beat to the clicking of her heels on dark Rue Thérèse. Footsteps sounded behind her, at first keeping pace, then gaining. Shivering in the chill air, she turned her head. A dark figure, a man or a woman, she couldn't tell, but the sheen of a black leather jacket that caught the streetlight. She ran now.